Is healthcare really sick care? Are the big food and pharmaceutical corporations conspiring to keep us unhealthy, unhappy, and addicted? Results don't lie. Obesity rates are skyrocketing. Insulin and blood sugar problems have taken over our lives. Too much or too little sleep, fatigue, inflammation, cognitive decline, all that's become our way of life. We can't escape it. Our mass-produced food supply, it's poisoning us and lowering our life expectancy. And the worst part is, doctors just give us a prescription that only suppresses our symptoms. They don't treat the core of why our bodies break down. Plus, the side effects of prescription medications, especially antibiotics, can cause massive, sometimes irreversible harm to our health. While it's causing our actual symptoms, that just keeps getting worse. It's called profits over people. It's a war between big corporations and us, and our quality of life and longevity. All of it's on the line. Discover why Western medicine is secretly keeping us sick.
What if there's a way to naturally address your weight, A1C numbers, food cravings, neuropathy, leaky gut, and rapid aging without Big Pharma's toxic medications that tend to do more harm than good to your body? Wouldn't you want to know how? My name is Jasmine Robbins. I'm the co-founder of Infinite Age Co., a company that was built to help our community overcome our urgent health issues and naturally address them. Let me ask you a few more questions. Are you tired all of the time? Do you have trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep even when you're totally exhausted? Are you overweight and tend to eat way too much of all of the wrong foods, no matter how full you get? And the last question, I promise. Are you taking prescription medications for your health conditions because you need to keep your symptoms under control? Well, believe it or not, these things aren't your fault. Our healthcare system isn't designed to help us get better. This isn't a guess or some conspiracy theory either. I'm going to tell you how and why healthcare became sick care, and more importantly, what you can do about it starting today. It wasn't until I discovered just how corrupt Western medicine is that I was finally able to understand why I was always sick, bloated, and overweight, and barely able to get out of bed most mornings. And the truth is, we've all been duped into getting addicted to fake, processed foods that are only sold to us for profits and making the top 1%ers richer. In the same breath, when the symptoms from today's standard American diet take over, we're taught to hope doctors can magically prescribe something to take it all away. That's healthcare? The truth is, big food and big pharma want us sick and dependent on their foods and pills. I'm going to tell you why, too. I know it's incredible to hear, but the good news is you can stop them by taking your health into your own hands. You have more power over your health than you might think. And in today's free presentation, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm also going to reveal the 3 worst things that you can possibly put into your body and why, so you can avoid them like the plague. These 3 things are antibiotics, commercial meats, and processed foods. These highly consumed things are not only poisoning you, but they're poisoning your family too, as well as destroying your second brain. Yeah, your second brain. It's the brain in your gut. I didn't know what it was either, but when I was discovering just how crucial a role it plays in our health, I'd feel guilty not sharing these things with you. I'll explain more in a minute. And why it's ground zero for everything happening to your health. Now, I knew that eating things like processed foods weren't the best things for me, but I didn't exactly know why or how bad it really was. Like how they're as addictive as illegal substances, or how they can be equally deadly. What I'm about to reveal opened up my eyes to how corrupt big food and big pharma are. I realized Western medicine isn't about making us better. When you dig into the research, the reality is we're just dollar signs to them. But this isn't news. Our food was deemed deadly back in 1977 in a legislation called the Dietary Goals for the United States. George McGovern, a senator then, was asked by the president to figure out what we should be eating. When his report came out, he called our food supply deadly. He said the simple fact is that our diets have changed radically within the last 50 years with great and often very harmful effects on our health. These dietary changes represent as great a threat to public health as smoking. Keep in mind, this was 40 years ago. Since then, food has become even more toxic to us, creating generations of unhealthy people, making us fat, tired, rapidly aging. In fact, right now, over 48% of African Americans are clinically obese. And with obesity comes a laundry list of debilitating health problems: insulin resistance, anxiety and seasonal affective disorder, metabolic syndrome, muscle decline, swelling and hardening in your arteries, leaky gut, even a heart attack or stroke. Now, back when I ate processed foods and didn't take care of myself, I didn't even question what was on the shelves at the grocery store. My body quickly fell apart. I gained a ton of weight. I could barely get out of bed. I was gassy all of the time. It had got to the point where I even developed autoimmune problems, which made my body an inflamed, painful mess. And I thought, what the heck is happening to me? I'm 20 years old. I said one morning, struggling to get out of bed. I was miserable and I wanted to feel better, fast. Like most of us, I went to the doctor and I was given pharmaceuticals to help get rid of my mounting health issues. Boy, was that a waste of time. The pills always made me nauseous, dizzy, low blood sugar, and I'd get a nasty case of vertigo. I realized that the side effects of my medications were worse than the actual symptoms I was trying to treat. Why is this called healthcare? I wondered that to myself. So I did my research, and as it turns out, it's not. It's sick care. I could see and feel myself getting worse. More pain, more inflammation, more barely able to get out of bed. And all the doctors were able to tell me was, different people respond to medications in different ways. We'll have to keep trying other medications and see how you feel. That was my routine. My body will reject one medication, then the next, and the next, while my body just kept getting worse. It felt like I was a test subject for these medications. I told my fiance, how am I supposed to ever get better and get my life back if I never deal with what's causing all of this? It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. Because if all doctors can do is give us prescriptions, the core causes are never dealt with, making this health scam the perfect business model for any greedy corporation. It's a perfect circle of profits. The sicker we get from eating big food's toxic fake foods, the more big pharma's pills we ultimately take. But healthcare in this country is designed that way. Most doctors have zero idea how to help you treat the core reasons of why your body is breaking down. It made my head hurt to find out that even top physicians have less than 40 hours of nutritional education. That's why doctors can only prescribe medications to help you with your symptoms. They aren't taught to do anything else. Even worse, doctors are literally told what to say about prescriptions to their patients by pharmaceutical reps who have little to no medical knowledge. These reps are just trying to make the biggest commission they can. They don't care if the medications make you feel better or worse, or have a bazillion side effects. You're just another high-paying patient. And let's get real for a second. Are we really falling for the whole side effects thing? There are only the effects of prescription medications. Side effects are just a trick that advertisers use to distract us from actually feeling worse. Again, how's that even remotely considered healthcare? I knew I couldn't keep going down this path, so I decided to educate myself about what was making me so sick. Nobody was going to be able to help me, least of which my doctor. And the same goes for you. You simply can't feel better, lose weight, get better sleep, achieve lower A1C numbers, overcome insulin resistance, have more energy, or age more youthfully if you aren't addressing the core of why your body breaks down. For doctors, that's like finding a needle in a haystack. Like I said though, none of this is your fault. I didn't know about any of this until I educated myself. And most importantly, I wanted to find the core of why my body, our bodies, are breaking down. In my research, I kept coming back to one thing: the gut. It's the first line of defense against health problems, weight gain, and rapid aging. What's weird is the gut isn't just your stomach and intestines. It's considered your second brain with millions of neurons, just like the brain in your head. Now here's where my research got a little invasion of the body snatchers, because inside of your gut is something called the microbiome. It's not only the heart of your gut, but it's ground zero for virtually every health problem you can possibly experience. The microbiome is made up of trillions of bacteria. These bacteria aren't human, and yet they're what make you human. These bacteria live on the inside of your gut wall, where the immune system begins. With everything going on in the world right now, that makes addressing these bacteria, it's the ultimate way to protect your health. But these different species of bacteria don't stop there. They live in your lungs, on your skin, and even in your brain. In fact, you're made of these non-human bacteria. More than you are of your own human cells, by about a 10-to-1 ratio. Here's where it gets really interesting. These hundreds of different bacterial species living inside of you, in your mouth, your lungs, your gut, and on top of your skin, are trying to take over your body, your health, and your happiness. These bacteria breathe, they fight each other, procreate, eat, poop, and colonize your body for their own survival. That's why I said we're getting a little invasion of the body snatchers. There's an alien invasion happening inside of you right now. Now, you're supposed to have 85% good bacteria and only 15% bad bacteria. Yeah, you actually need bad bacteria to be healthy. But if you're overweight, emotionally overeat, struggling for energy, fighting for sleep, having high blood pressure, if you deal with neuropathy, if you experience a lack of energy, constantly getting gassy, constipated, or suffering from endless digestive problems, I'm so sorry to tell you this. The bad guys, the body snatchers, they are winning. When I discovered this stuff, I knew I needed to let the whole community know about it. I also discovered a way to help feed the good bacteria and to repair the gut, which is truly tackling the core of most of your health problems. I'm talking about 3 simple but incredibly powerful ingredients for treating virtually every part of your body where toxicity can be found. I'll tell you how it all worked in a minute. But before I tell you about the 3 gut repairing ingredients, I mentioned 3 things that harm your body, damage your health, and can take years of life away from you. These are also the main things that damage your gut or second brain and massively compromise your immune system. Those 3 things are antibiotics, commercial meat, and processed foods. This is super important information, but I'll make it quick and simple. Now, antibiotics are a big part for why your gut health may have fallen apart. Every round of antibiotics is like dropping an atomic bomb on your gut's second brain, aka where most of today's modern illnesses begin. Because the gut barrier is supposed to keep the toxicity out of your bloodstream, where it can damage your cellular DNA, your quality of life, and your overall longevity. You see, at the heart of the gut is an ecosystem of good and bad bacteria. Without these bacteria, your body can't live, function, and thrive. You ideally want 85% good bacteria living in your gut compared to just 15% bad. But when you take just one round of antibiotics, it's like letting bad bacteria take your second brain over and claim control over your health, happiness, and even your food cravings. When the bad bacteria take over, your body develops the majority of the problems, like your weight gain, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, and even life-threatening health issues like heart attack and stroke. It can all start with just a single round of antibiotics. Imagine if you've taken 3, 4, or 10 rounds of antibiotics in your lifetime. Your gut could be festering with bad bacteria. Here's why that's dangerous. Bad bacteria are protected by an alien-looking slimy sludge called biofilm. What's scary is biofilm has become antibiotic resistant. So the more antibiotics you've taken, the less your immune system can protect you from catching airborne bugs. In fact, your immune system is completely dependent on healthy, good bacteria to properly function. I'll tell you how to fuel your good bacteria in a second with the 3 nutrients I've alluded to. Now, the second thing is commercial meats. This is a lot of a bigger deal than most people realize. Commercial meats are literally destroying our health. In the name of profits, shady advertising, and convincing us that foods we're eating is actually food meant for human consumption. Shady advertising has tricked us into believing that foods we're eating is meant to be a part of our diet. But the truth is, it's the exact opposite. These commercial meats are not only unhealthy for us, but our planet too. Not to mention the poor animals being treated inhumanely. But when you discover exactly what's in your mystery meats, it's shocking to see just how far the meat industry will go to make more money, while we pay the supreme cost in losing our health. What's scary is, did you know that 80% of all the antibiotics made are used in commercial livestock? They pump antibiotics into livestock to treat ongoing disease in animals from the inhumane way that they're raised. So every time you eat commercial meat, you and your family are being low-dosed with antibiotics, which is killing off your good bacteria, compromising your immune system, and letting poisons into your bloodstream, setting you up for a laundry list of new and worsening health problems. Now, much of the meat you likely eat isn't really meat at all. Processed meat is classified as a carcinogen because it's pumped full of harmful chemicals that are known to create free radicals, oxidative damage. These chemicals are meant to make these processed meats addictive, so you crave them, even though they're destroying your health and stealing your longevity. Experts agree, eating processed meat can be as deadly as smoking tobacco. The current evidence suggests the higher intake of processed meat, the higher risk of chronic disease and mortality, says Frank B. Hood, MD, PhD, professor and chair Department of Nutrition, Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. This is especially true in low-income areas where pretty much all you can buy is processed meat, including fast food restaurants. The World Health Organization openly states that eating processed meat increases the chance of early death by as much as 20%. Imagine eating processed meat for a year, 10 years, or even most of your life. The amount of gut damage you're currently going through right now can be extreme. Lowering processed meat consumption is huge. But this rabbit hole goes a little deeper. Did you know that grain-fed cattle is like causing an inflammatory wildfire inside of your body? Grain-fed livestock has an average of 20 to 1 omega-6s than omega-3s. Omega-6s are your pro-inflammatory fats, and omega-3s are your anti-inflammatory fats. On the flip side, Grass-fed livestock has an average of 3 to 1 omega-6s to omega-3s. This is important because most health experts agree humans aren't meant to consume food with a higher omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. And get this, the average person eats a diet close to 15 to 1 ratio of omega-6s and omega-3s, which could be deadly for a large portion of our community. A well-known author, Michael Pollan, said, "Were the walls of our meat industry to become transparent, literally or even figuratively, we would not long continue to raise, kill, and eat animals the way we do." See, all of this information does something else too. I'll talk about it in just a second, but it definitely doesn't stop there. The same can also be said for our so-called food, which also brings me to my number 3 in my list. Processed foods. Now, food companies have a long history of lobbying in Washington, D.C. for unfair treatment from politicians. Refined grains, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, food coloring, pasteurized milk, MSG in all of its dozens of names, GMO crops, and so many more chemicals. These things aren't food. But corporations pay millions of dollars every year to persuade elected officials to remove the red tape for bigger profits. It's gotten to the point where a vote for your local and federal politicians is voting for big food and big pharma. Check this out. Meat and dairy lobbying versus sugar lobbying millions. Meat and dairy is so much higher, and we're on an upward incline. Just these 3 industries alone spend tens of thousands of millions of dollars to guarantee their fake food is what you eat. The problem is, you're not meant to consume these chemicals. My cells can't use their nutrition, and neither can yours. Sadly, it's the addition of these chemicals and refining methods in our foods that's brought about the majority of today's biggest and most common health conditions, including autoimmune conditions like lupus. These foods are filling your body up with way more toxicity than it's capable of dealing with. And that's why you're watching this today. What's truly criminal, these chemicals that big foods use in their products are deliberately added to make you addicted to eating as much of these fake foods as possible at the cost of your health for their profits. It's sick, it's evil, it's corrupt, and it's literally killing you and our community. Think about it. The only reason to modify and process our food supply with toxic chemicals can only be for profit. Then, when your symptoms get bad enough, you're encouraged by doctors to take Big Pharma's equally toxic prescription pills. But just like the omega-6, omega-3 conversation a second ago, processed fake foods also trigger systemic inflammation, which causes an explosion of something called free radicals. Now, free radicals are like zombies in your blood. They attack your healthy, youthful cells so they can steal back their missing electron. This is one of the biggest causes for mutated cells. It's also one of the deeper cores for rapid aging and even more inflammation. Plus, lots of other everyday things trigger free radicals in your blood, like UV exposure, smoking, drinking too much, and even stress. All of these free radicals are one of the biggest known causes for visible expression wrinkles and fine lines, fatigue, and struggling to make it through the day, sleepless nights, and barely being able to get out of bed, a partial or complete loss of your libido and desire, and hardening of your arteries, potentially setting you up for serious and deadly health conditions. The processed foods on our grocery store shelves are like the Trojan horses put into our communities to make us weak. As a result of the buildup in toxicity, they are putting it in our bodies. It's crippling our way of life and making a mockery out of us, all for the profits of greedy food, pharma, and sick care companies. This must change. For me, a big part of that change was discovering what helps reduce the toxicity in my body. After years of putting their toxic fake foods into my body, I discovered 3 unique ingredients that helped me drop pounds of unsightly fat, boosted my immune system, neutralized my free radicals, and assist in feeding my good bacteria. Those ingredients are Irish sea moss, bladderwrack, and burdock root. Starting with Irish sea moss. This macroalgae is known to increase your levels of short-chain fatty acids in your intestines, which help feed and fuel your good bacteria, helping to eliminate the bad bacteria. Studies show that when you have more optimal balance of good and bad bacteria, you can potentially have more energy, less gas and bloat, and could even see a significant drop in weight over time. Also, by helping to fuel the good bacteria, your sugar and food cravings can drop, further assisting you in taking back control over your body and your health. It's actually the bad bacteria in your gut that talk to your brain and tell it to feed me. So overeating and junk food cravings, they're not your fault. Irish sea moss is a powerful antioxidant. It's capable of neutralizing the abundance of free radicals, which can lead to getting on top of premature rapid aging. But here's where it gets more exciting. Irish sea moss is known to assist the body in getting rid of toxicity and help to purify your blood. These benefits are directly addressing the core of why the body breaks down. Plus, by giving your good bacteria a source of nutritional fuel and potentially neutralizing the overload of free radicals, you can help reduce inflammation. Irish sea moss is one of the most effective ingredients I've personally experienced to regain more natural energy, reduce bloat, gas, squelch my food cravings, and help me lose weight. It isn't a struggle to get out of bed anymore, and my skin looks visibly clearer and more radiant than it has ever looked. But Irish sea moss isn't the only ingredient I found during my research. Bladderwrack was something else I discovered when I researched gut health. Studies show that bladderwrack can fight against candida, which is a toxic fungus that can grow inside of your gut, in your mouth, and in your private areas. Bladderwrack helps level the playing field even more and help your good bacteria flourish. Remember too, your immune system is only as strong as the amount of good bacteria you have living inside of you. So helping to fend off candida is another big part of maintaining optimal gut health, and therefore optimal health in general. Also, just like Irish moss, bladderwrack is another huge source of antioxidants. This can help you further manage inflammation, cellular death, and premature aging. But bladderwrack is also an incredible source of trace minerals like magnesium, iodine, potassium, and a lot of times we forget our bodies run on minerals. Magnesium is the spark that ignites natural energy, but equally, it's magnesium that helps your body relax so you can easily fall and stay asleep at night. Potassium is critical for all your cells to healthily function, and without ample potassium in your bloodstream, your blood pressure would likely skyrocket. Potassium is shown in clinical studies to assist in reducing blood pressure, which can significantly help against heart attack and stroke. And iodine is fuel for your thyroid. That's important because your thyroid regulates your entire metabolism. Without ample thyroid fuel, your metabolism is likely to feel sluggish. People who supplement with bladderwrack typically experience weight loss support, a reduction in their inflammation, and regain natural, sustainable energy. Now lastly, I discovered burdock root while I researched for ways to take back control over my body's health, so I could stop making corporate stockholders richer by going to doctors with my symptoms and taking Big Pharma's toxic medications. I was worried about how I could accelerate getting rid of years of eating toxic foods. I kept coming back to burdock root again and again. In clinical studies, burdock root is proven to help with purifying the blood of heavy metals and possibly protect your organs from toxic overload. Burdock root is also shown to help with lymphatic circulation and drainage, Just think of your lymphatic system as your body's way of recycling and eliminating toxins. When it's all stopped up, your body is forced to hold on to toxins, which typically cause further health damage. Now, the lymph is just under your skin. So if your lymph is clogged, your skin likely takes on a duller, blotchier, and even inflamed complexion. When I started burdock root, I was shocked by how much better my skin visibly looked. And of course, my skin is the first thing people see when they look at me. So having a truly flawless complexion isn't something I'll ever complain about. There was something else I noticed. My blood sugar, which was always massively up and down, started staying consistent throughout my days. At first, it was just a little better. Then it reached a point where I wasn't getting dizzy or having vertigo anymore. I could feel the difference of helping my body get rid of my toxicity. No more struggling to get out of bed. No more extreme overeating or the bloat and gas that comes with it. No more battling my body just to survive the day. When I had these 3 ingredients combined into a natural supplement, I couldn't believe the way I felt, so I gave it to my family and my friends. They reported feeling more energy, getting better sleep, experiencing a higher libido, and visibly losing weight. Once I saw how my loved ones were feeling, I knew I needed to get it out there into our community, so more of us could start potentially recovering from years of toxic buildup and gut damage. It's called CMOS Advanced. Since we started offering this incredible supplement and superfood, it's gone on to help thousands of people in our community. These are the types of results I hope you can get to. Of course, every body is different. And I don't want you to worry about, well, this all sounds great, but what happens if CMOS Advanced doesn't work for me? So you have a full 30 days to decide for yourself. In other words, if you aren't feeling and seeing results for yourself, Infinite Age Co. will give you a no questions asked fast refund. And right now, with everything going on in the world, there honestly couldn't be a better time to nourish your body's natural defenses, detoxify years of buildup, and use ingredients shown to help strengthen your immune system. That's what makes CMOS Advanced so special. CMOS for its possible ability to assist in fueling your good bacteria and help neutralize free radicals. Bladderwrack for how it's shown to replete minerals and amp up the metabolism. Burdock root for the way it's associated with blood and lymph purification and helping to regulate blood sugar. Altogether, CMOS Advanced is a superfood, and it's helping people in our community take their power back from big food and big pharma, both of whom really don't seem to care about us. This is your chance to empower yourself with health and tell the big corporation who's boss. I highly recommend ordering at least the 3-bottle option. We tend to sell out quickly. And once you start feeling the results for yourself, you won't ever go back. So make today the day that you declare, it's my body matters, and I'm going to give it the nutrition it craves and live my best life. Don't forget, your order today is fully covered by our 30-day money-back guarantee, and your order is fully secured by the latest constantly update encryption. Your data is never lost, stolen, or sold under any circumstances, and every bottle of CMOS Advanced is produced in an FDA-approved facility and GMP certified. Order with confidence and have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you on the other side.